This was difficult to get through.
I think feminism is attempting to say, okay, the first thing we agree on is that there are barriers and friction to what I need and what I want based on the fact that I'm a woman. What it ignores is that, and what privilege is that you may not have to think that being a woman and being a black woman and being a black woman who has a disability, for example, impacts you further.
Wow, I did not like that sandwich. So now this particular woman who she's talking about, this illusion of a woman, they have 3 barriers right off the top. Barrier because she's a woman, barrier because she's black, barrier because she's disabled. I feel because I'm a cisgendered male who happens to be black, by the way, feminism has been very, very unpleasant to me. I have lost positions because I had off-colored jokes that did not go well with the other women. I've been passed up for positions because I have testicles. I've also been thrown in jail because of my skin color. That's a lie, but I hope you believe it. And white people don't want to hire me for anything, even though every single job I've ever gotten was a white person who hired me. I just feel that because of the body that my creator put me in, that I'm being marginalized, and I feel that the system must change in our favor. Cisgendered men who happens to be black. To hell with the white ones, because who cares about them?
You have more barriers, you have more friction, you are less able to get what you want, you're undervalued in a way that's like, okay, well, you know, that's life. That's what I mean by equity, and that we're able to,
But that is life. That's life. You know what I mean? That's life. Nobody gives a damn about what you're dealing with right now. The fact of the matter is that's life.
Without friction, all get the same needs met.
Yeah.
Yep.
Without friction, get all the needs met. Let's listen to that again. I didn't...
And that we're able to, without friction, all get the same needs met.
Without friction, get all the needs met. So in other words, you don't want to have to try for shit. You don't want to have to earn nothing. You just want it given to you. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. You just want it to be given to you. Well, that's not how life works, sweetheart. Maybe you'll get it because you're disabled. But for the vast majority of human beings who have their legs and everything like that, they don't get that privilege, sweetheart.
Yeah, see, I disagree with that. I think life is easier if you're a girl.
Far much easier.
I think
far much easier. Absolutely. Even this lady right here, she even agrees.
I'm not going to speak anything to race. I'm just talking about gender specifically. It's usually like an excuse. Like, honestly, I think as a girl, you have equal opportunity in the world. I think there's benefits. Like, for example, we have quotas for women in specific jobs that are given to us that aren't given to men. So yeah, I would say it's easier being a girl.
Just from a viewpoint over here, then it seems there's a lot of pretty privilege in what you're saying, and that you're white and you present.
Do you think I'm pretty? Thank you.
I think that you present in a way that beauty standards have accepted. And so
they call me ugly on the internet all the time. They be roasting me daily, I swear to God.
I don't mean to say I think you're gorge. I just mean that there are a certain value that we give to certain bodies.
I mean, let's also dig into why these quotas exist and why these, what you're calling
because
privileges
we want
exist.
special treatment.
No, it's because there have historically and presently in most jobs been fewer women because of sexism.
Sexism, when we have no barriers today. So we can pick what we want to pick.
Who doesn't have barriers?
Women don't have barriers?
Women, yeah. What's
we
stopping
have no
you? You can do whatever you want. What's stopping
I can
you?
or you can?
What's stopping you? As a woman.
As a woman.
See,
That ignores a lot, that I'm a woman with a disability.
No, it's not ignoring that from, no. See, this is another thing that I can't stand women doing. They'll get you to agree to play their game by their rules. Even though she's the only disabled woman on the goddamn panel, she wants to be acknowledged as the disabled one.
So there's a lot stopping me that you don't have to think about.
Well, as I said before, I'm speaking about women. I'm not.
You're speaking for yourself.
You're speaking as an able-bodied woman.
I understand.
Represents white.
Of course.
You're speaking as an able-bodied woman, which is white. Notice how they keep putting labels on people. Oh my God.
But of course there's going to be other barriers if you're disabled, I'm sure. Like I'm talking about as a woman.
So you're just going to ignore
white women have it easier, yes. I would agree.
Yes, you have it easier.
You're just going to ignore the pay gap, regulation over bodies.
pay gap has been
The pay gap doesn't exist.
my friend.
It doesn't.
That's so
It's
funny.
the industries that women pick.
Let's talk about it.
There's a pay gap, but it's because women don't want to do the hardest industries.
Right.
And I think the fact of the matter is that women structure their lives differently to men. Men don't give birth. Men don't have to be the primary caregiver most of the time. Women also don't hold jobs for as long as men do. They often will stop and start. They'll go back into work. They'll take time off. They'll take part-time jobs. The way that men work and women work are astronomically different. And to
Right.
try to say that they're comparable is where this issue comes from.
Two things. First of all, let's dig into why they think that they should take these jobs, which is societal sexism, and then also
Society sexism told a woman she couldn't be a construction worker.
actually, Department of Labor, all statistics, at least speaking in the U.S., have found that when compared for the same jobs, there still is a pay gap, particularly when it pertains to race.
Because 60% of women have never asked for a raise.
Right.
How can you complain about your pay if you don't ask for it?
Why are they not?
Right.
What happens when women ask for a raise?
Sorry, I've been wanting to say something, but I want to be respectful. I don't want to interrupt people, and I want to let them finish their thoughts. It is a very privileged label, right, to be able to say that you're feminist, right? And I say that because I come from a working class background of Dominican immigrant parents. My mother would not necessarily identify as a feminist. I look to my mother, and I do think of her as a feminist. A lot of my ideas and my empowerment comes from seeing her survive and put food on the table. When I'm thinking about feminism, I'm always thinking about who's not part of the conversation. What are the barriers? How do we think about equity? How do we think about self-empowerment and agency and having a voice, right? And having choice and thinking about our basic human rights, education, access to health, homes, having bread, having food. And those things are very important, right? And they're at the crux, right, of what a lot of us here know that we need. It's there are the barriers, right, that we constantly ignore that are very much systemic.
What are these damn barriers? Can we write these barriers down so we can at least see them for what they are? Put it in plain English. What barriers are you talking about?
And microaggressive, right? We see them and experience them every day.
Like what in the U.S.?
So,
like what?
What would you like to know an example of?
I know you said that there's barriers. I want to know what barriers in the U.S. today as a woman.
Well, as a woman or as a woman of color, let's be.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
Specific
As
team.
a woman, I said
and we
as a
don't,
woman.
Well, no, I can't answer as a woman.
So I can't answer as a woman, but I can talk as a woman.
I
I'm
just
just
feel
not
like
a
your
woman,
question is
right?
kind of hostile when you're there are no barriers to what I want. Congratulations. That means you have the privilege where you're not facing any friction, and that's showing, and I feel
What do you think life is all about? You think life is supposed to be on easy mode? No. Life has friction. Tons of it. You can't even procreate without going through excruciating pain for hours on end. That's life. It's suffering. It's just what it is. And the more you try to ignore the suffering, the more you suffer.
it's
I think as an American, you're very privileged.
I'm not ignoring that.
Yeah,
Or a basic level of what the feminist movement is when it comes to just being born a woman, right? Physically, pound for pound, we are born as women and we have less lean muscle mass than men. So there are issues of violence and assault and stuff like that. And so therefore,
Oh my God. Every single time. There is not one panel that do not bring violence, domestic violence, into the damn mix. Every time I see something like this, they always bring violence into it. It's actually sickening.
policies, there are things to help women physically, like, for example, I believe being able to carry a firearm and being able to use that safely to defend.
Okay, how did you get your right to carry a firearm? How did you get your right? Who gave it to you? Who fought and died so you can have the right to carry a firearm, ma'am? Who did that?
Defend yourself against men who are born naturally with more muscle mass than a woman.
Okay, so the only person that you ever would have to ever defend yourself against is a man, right? There ain't no women out there that's doing crazy stuff, right?
I keep hearing the term equity. What would a world that has equity look like? Like, would it be 50% of everyone in the same jobs? Would it be like prison, 50%?
That's equality.
50%. So,
Yeah,
so what does equity look like?
So equity is generally described as a state of fairness because historically a lot of people have been arguing for equality, but what does that give us? Like 0.5 of the 1% being women. This doesn't really do anything for us. And so people have talked about equity instead, which is instead of sameness, it's fairness. And this would mean that we remove systemic barriers to engage in society, not just for women, but also for everyone.
So which barriers?
Good question.
Barriers that you don't believe in.
Answer the damn question. Just answer the question. Any question, answer it. So we can put this down on paper, so we can eradicate all these freaking barriers, so you can shut the hell up about them. Nah, they won't do that. They'll find another reason to complain. That's just what they do.
I do. Go
for
on.
you to have a bunch of ramps in your life? It doesn't do shit. I need
That's not true. I don't have to work up the stairs. Maybe I don't like stairs.
those ramps, right?
Can we stick to male versus female? That's my question.
Good question.
So I'm thinking male versus female.
But my feminism includes ability, it includes
but
race.
My question is,
But we're not talking about you. We're talking about feminism. If we was talking about you, this conversation would be dead on arrival. We're talking about feminism. These women are dense, bruh. And they get worse when they get collaborated. When they get together, they get worse. America has problems.
you guys
can talk.
Women versus men. Like what barriers do we need removed? Because that's my statement. I'm not stating anything else. I'm stating women versus men.
Bonus content.
That I will always live by is what one man won't do, another man will.
I remember back in college a couple years ago, in this very car actually, I was sitting with a past significant other. We were in some big argument about something random, and eventually she goes, you know, I deal with a lot in this relationship for someone as young and attractive as I am in this college. So I go, okay. Go be young and pretty in college. Because if that's your mindset around me and the relationship, then I don't want to deal with it, and you can go. I said it calmly, and I meant it. She didn't even look at the door. She didn't budge, because at the end of the day, there's a reason she's sitting in my car having that argument with me for hours, rather than taking the easy route and going for one of the other dudes that's willing to do whatever and is waiting for our relationship to fail. You can't act like your significant other is that replaceable and it's that easy simply because other people exist. So if someone says this to you, call their bluff.